and you are completely satisfied. Allah gives you ideas more and more and more, and then He shows you Himself. So inshallah you'll be satisfied, don't worry. Another question: if a person misses on some prayers purposely out of laziness but have a great fear of Allah and death, or will they be the dwellers of heaven? Allahu Akbar. Yani if they have fear of Allah, inshallah they will enter Jannah. They will. Yani by not praying one prayer out of laziness or two or three doesn't make you a dweller of hellfire forever. You may be punished. Purposefully, yes, there is a sin for it, but there is always tawbah. And listen to Ahmad the Repenter. You will know what I'm talking about in tawbah. Do we have to follow a madhab? Brothers, why don't you read the questions before you give them to me? Sorry about that. Do we have to follow the madhab, or can we use our own intellect to understand the Quran and the Sunnah? It's bad. I don't understand the last part. But in general, yes, you can follow a madhab. Who said you can't? Yani, people who study in Medina, the Munawwara, or any Sharia school, they grab a certain madhab and they teach it. For example, in Medina they study the Hanbali madhab. Ibn Taymiyyah, rahmatullah alayh, was a Maliki. Ibn Taymiyyah, rahmatullah, was a Maliki. However, there's a small difference, and you know what I'm about to say. Nobody, no one, not a single being, no matter how knowledgeable they are, is to be followed blindly, without some investigations, with whatever you have ability to investigate in. So if you are an old grandmother who does not know how to read and write, doesn't understand anything but goats and sheep as she was raised, then it is sufficient for her for a shaykh who is trustworthy and seems to be sincere, and you can see the signs on him, and he constantly says Quran and Sunnah, Hadith, for her just to say, "Ya shaykh, is this allowed?" And he says yes, that's it, that's enough for her. However, I give an example of myself, for example. I consider myself a student of knowledge, and I'm able to read Arabic and research in some hadiths and read what scholars have commented on certain hadiths that are fabricated and so on. I have to go to that length. Where I stop, and then I choose a certain, if it's not clear, and it's rare to be not clear, if it's something is very unclear and there is a difference of opinion, then you follow what your heart is content with to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or you can go back to the madhab until you find something which is greater evidence. If I come to you right now and I say a hadith, and this hadith is sahih, and it's in Bukhari, and it's very clear as the sun, and you have understood it, and then you say to me, but my madhab says something else, so I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to follow that. Then my dear brother or sister, unfortunately, I say it as it is, you have made that madhab your prophet. You have made Malik or Hanbali or Abu Hanifa your prophet. Because they themselves are innocent from that. They say, don't follow us blindly. إِذَا صَحَّ الْحَدِيث فَهُوَ مَذْهَبِي. If the hadith is sahih and sah, then it is our madhab. This is what we've been trying to do. Which means that they lack some knowledge. Sometimes not all the hadith have been brought to them. In time of Bukhari, he was after Imam Abu Hanifa, for example. There were hadiths he discovered that still existed and were sahih, and they didn't know of them. So it's not a condition, my dear sisters and brothers. Says, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. What do you propose as to how we Muslims should keep up the enthusiasm for new deen? Always recite the Quran and try to understand it. Every day have a wird, which means some type of a dhikr which you always say, or have 10 minutes a day or half an hour a day where you read the Quran and try to understand it. Make times in your day for Allah. If you don't make a certain time in the day for Allah, you will forget Allah and your enthusiasm will go down, even if you pray. When you pray, because prayer can come an automatic thing, a mechanical thing, and you don't know why you're praying and what you've just done or how many rak'ahs you've done anyway. You need to always try to also learn new things. Read. Ask. Be around religious people as much as you can. And be around religious people as much as you can, make dua. Try to always, and if all of that doesn't work, go back to the basics. The basic of what makes a Muslim, what makes a person a Muslim. And that is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many of us make a time in the night or in the day to just spend time to think about Allah's creation, contemplate about how the stars are up there, subhanallah, or about how the earth moves, or watching a video about birds and things like that, and sort of learn how Allah's creation is. I remembered birds because Abu Hamza, who was sitting here, has a tape about birds, and I really want to watch it. I've been at his house for 2 days and he hasn't put it on for me. Maybe tomorrow, inshallah. And so, creation of Allah. Think about it, contemplate about it. It'll make your iman firm again, wallahi. It'll do something to your heart. You'll feel that tingle inside your heart as soon as you do it. Investigate and keep moving and looking and striving. Iman goes up and iman goes down. Don't worry. So long as you're still in your compulsory things. How can the Muslims show the non-believers that Islam is a complete way of life? And spiritually, politically, inshallah, we'll sit together and we'll discuss this, inshallah. Everything has its own way. But really, I try to say to you, and concentrate on tawheed when you talk to them. Allah's oneness, and you show them the good character from yourself. It depends what the non-Muslim is talking about. Another question. Are all the good dreams from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I saw that I was taken... Okay, this is a dream that I have to interpret. I'm not good at doing it, brothers and sisters. But let's go for it. I saw that I was taken to a higher level where there was a tree so big it covered the scene. A beautiful man approached me and said, "Come." I then inquired of someone, "What about such and such?" He then replied, "You may intercede for 70 others." Subhanallah. Could this mean what I presume at all or not? This was shown to me exactly after Fajr prayer and I had returned from Hajj. Give me your interpretation, brother, please, so that I too may have hope. I wish I was in your place, my dear brother. This is of course certainly a dream from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and maybe this does mean what you are thinking.